I am honestly starting to feel like the 2026 rookie draft class is absolutely loaded at the wide receiver position with players atop of rankings like Mekhi Lemon, Cardinal Tate, and Jordyn Tyson. And as much as I like both Tate and Lemon, I think Jordyn Tyson is ready to be absolutely dominant at the NFL level. So in today's video, we are going to break down why Jordyn Tyson could be the best wide receiver in the 2026 rookie draft class. And very quickly, if you guys are new to the channel, do me a huge favor. If you guys get anything useful out of this video whatsoever, hit that subscribe button down below. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the month of January ends. We're putting out weekly Dynasty Fantasy Football content to help you guys dominate the Dynasty Fantasy Football season. So just take one quick second. We would greatly appreciate if you guys hit that subscribe button down below. All right, so taking a quick look at the top wide receivers out of the 2026 rookie draft class, obviously have Jordyn Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, and Cardinal Tate kind of in their own tier. And I think you could certainly argue, any of these guys as the best potential rookie wide receiver here. And you guys have heard me talk a lot about Cardinal Tate. You're also going to hear me talk a lot about Mekhi Lemon coming up on the channel. But Jordyn Tyson, I think, is the most dominant potential wide receiver out of this bunch. But there's still a lot of other names here. Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, Chris Bell, even names like Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper, Chris Brazell. There are plenty of wide receivers in this draft class with the right potential NFL draft stock as well as landing spots, whichever NFL team they go to, could kind of morph into potential wide receivers that we are targeting heavily in upcoming rookie drafts. But as vast as the talent is, we are still looking at this top overall tier at Cardinal Tate, Mekhi Lemon, and Jordyn Tyson. And like I said, we're going to break down in today's video why I think Jordyn Tyson can easily be the best wide receiver out of the upcoming 2026 rookie draft class. All right, so when we start to break down Jordyn Tyson in terms of statistics, I think the most impactful collegiate seasons to look at are 2024 and 2025, but I will go to mention in 2022, played in 9 games at Colorado before transferring to Arizona State. Then his first year at Arizona State in 2023, only played in 3 games, was limited due to injury. And that is kind of the biggest concern around Jordyn Tyson, is that there has been a history of different injuries throughout the entirety of his collegiate career. 2024, the most complete college season we got out of Tyson. 2025, only played in 9 games, but certainly the production has been there. And when this guy is on the field, you see it time in and time out that everything positive from his scouting reports shows up on film. 61 catches this past year, 711 receiving yards, 8 receiving touchdowns, as well as 1 rushing touchdown. In 2024, 75 catches, over 1,100 receiving yards, much better in terms of the overall receiving yardage there, 10 receiving touchdowns. So still a ton of production over the last 2 seasons. And when you put the film on for Jordyn Tyson, you are looking at a true #1 wide receiver. And we'll continue to break that down throughout the course of the video. All right, starting with our scouting report, we're going to take a look at some strengths: exceptional separation ability with fluid hips and explosive transitions that put defensive backs and blenders, consistently creates windows even against tight coverage. This is something on film that you will see over and over again. He is able to really just separate from defenders so well. Devastating on intermediate routes, where he showcases advanced understanding of leverage, manipulating defenders with subtle head fakes and pace variations. And this is really, like, once again, going off of the first point there, something that you just see out of Jordyn Tyson time in and time out again. He is able to really just persuade defenders into doing whatever he wants to do on the field. Natural tracking skills on deep balls allow him to adjust without breaking stride. Makes over the shoulder catches look routine while maintaining acceleration. I would just add to this that, his ability to line up as a true X wide receiver, a true #1 wide receiver, and get those deep balls is absolutely exceptional. Sticky hands in traffic with the concentration to secure catches through contact, hauls in anything remotely catchable, particularly in crucial moments. So this is a big one too. I would say whether it's short field, intermediate field, kind of over the top defenses, longer passes like we just talked about, he has very good hands, just soft, natural hands. You guys will see that on his film. Runs angry after the catch with surprisingly effective contact balance despite leaner frame. Transforms into a running back with elusiveness in space. So, with all that being said, all those kind of like positives about elusiveness, separation, being able to catch, he is a physical wide receiver, which you absolutely have to be at the next level. Competitive blocker who bought and to Coach Hein Ward's no block, no rock philosophy. And this is a huge thing, right? In terms of being able to translate to a number one wide receiver in the NFL, his ability to block is off the charts. That shows up on film. That is something that a lot of NFL teams are going to really like when it comes to Jordyn Tyson as a potential prospect here. Basketball background translate beautifully to boundary work where he boxes out defenders and shows tremendous body control to get both feet down. Body control, another positive you will see on a ton of scouting reports out there on Jordyn Tyson. Clutch performer who elevates in high leverage situations, scored 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns and converted 12 third downs, showing true alpha traits. And this is a big thing with Jordyn Tyson. Like, he wants the football in his hands in big moments, especially on third downs, as you guys see there. The go-to wide receiver for the Sun Devils was Jordyn Tyson, and this is something that you need in terms of being a number one wide receiver in the NFL. You need that kind of mentality of wanting the football in big moments and pressure situations, and he steps up to the plate every single time when you guys go out and watch his film. Let's take a glance at some weaknesses from that same scouting report. Medical history raises durability concerns after suffering a significant knee injury in 2022 and a season-ending collarbone injury in 2024. So these have been the two major issues. There's been some other injuries that have popped up, but I will say in general, once again, just to reiterate, the biggest kind of concern around Jordyn Tyson as a prospect here is the fact that he does have these, history of different injuries, but nothing that is like a reoccurring injury necessarily. It's not like he's suffering, multiple knee injuries or anything. Nothing that's been concerning enough to knock him out of the top 3 potential wide receiver prospects coming out of this collegiate class anywhere you look. So I'm not letting it bother me too much. Frame could use additional bulk to better withstand NFL punishment. 195 pounds on his 6'1 frame puts him in just the 33rd percentile for weight. So he's a little bit of a smaller wide receiver in terms of weight, but once again, when you watch him play, he does not feel like he's only 195 pounds out there. Route tree needs refinement at the top end. Occasionally rounds off breaks rather than creating sharp angles NFL corners will capitalize on. And this is a fair concern here, but once again, something here that I feel like can be, improved upon and something that's at least coachable at the next level. Can get tunnel vision as a runner, sometimes missing opportunities to use blockers effectively after the catch rather than trying to beat everyone solo. I mean, this is a fair knock, but this is just kind of goes hand in hand with him being so elusive and being able to create yards after the catch and all of that. Not every opportunity was judged correctly by him when you look at his film. That's something that can be improved upon, not something that particularly concerns me. Needs to become more consistent against press coverage, occasionally struggles against physical corners who disrupt his release timing and footwork. So once again, these are all things that can be coached upon, can be improved upon at the next level. But like any collegiate wide receiver, there are going to be concerns and weaknesses at the end of the day. In summary, here's a look at my own kind of scouting report, so to speak, and why I think Jordyn Tyson has all of the intangibles to be a true number one wide receiver and to be dominant in fantasy football day one. And that's the number one thing you're going to see on the scouting report. He can be a number one wide receiver day one. He wants the football in his hands at all times. He shows up in those big moments throughout games on third downs when the team needs to score. This is the player who is not afraid of that pressure. High volume target, ready for the NFL. Once again, saw a lot of volume throughout his collegiate career, especially the past 2 seasons. He has been through situations that force him to act like a number one wide receiver, and once again, has stepped up to the plate time in and time out. Lingering injury concerns could impact draft capital. We've gone over this throughout the course of the video. Just just know they are there. If that is something that concerns you, look into those injuries a little bit. But once again, it has not been enough to push him out of, the number one wide receiver conversation coming out of this rookie draft class. So for me, I'm not at a point where it concerns me in really any way, shape, or form. Good route runner with a great lateral agility and footwork. And this is kind of one of those things that really separates Jordyn Tyson from some of the other wide receivers kind of close to the top of the rankings here at the wide receiver position coming out of this draft class. Is his agility and footwork is just absolutely elite. Wants to be the go-to wide receiver at all times. We've gone over this point throughout the course of the video, but this is just a player that wants to have the football in his hands, which is something that you want out of a primary number one wide receiver. Effective playmaker with the ball in his hands, so obviously that's going to be good. But if you go and watch his film, you will see this. Once he does catch the football, the play is certainly not over by any means. Contested catches are no problem, and he has excellent body control. Just about every scouting report that I went over for Jordyn Tyson points out his body control, but also his ability to make contested catches, even against bigger defenders at times, is absolutely elite as well. Plays with confidence and aggressiveness. We talked about that earlier in the video. You do not feel like this guy is 195 to 200 pounds, right? This is a player that is still very physical and has confidence at the end of the day. Good ball skills and leaping ability as well. So for me, he really holds all of the intangibles to be a true number one wide receiver at the NFL level. And I think this is a player, especially with the right landing spot, who can be absolutely dominant from a fantasy football perspective from day one. I've seen a lot of different landing spots for Jordyn Tyson. You guys can go out and look at, there's dozens and dozens of NFL drafts or NFL mock drafts out there right now. But I really feel like most of the teams, who are at the point where they could potentially draft Jordyn Tyson earlier in the first round or whatever point in the first round, I really don't think there's a bad fit for Jordyn Tyson right now necessarily. I do think some teams like potentially like the Saints have come up a lot in a lot of mocks out there where a player like Chris Olave is in front of him. I still think that's a very good thing for Jordyn Tyson early in his career. But if he is to land with a team like the Browns where he's going to have to step in and be the true number one wide receiver, then maybe his trajectory is similar to a guy like T-Mac with the Panthers this past year, where maybe it takes a little bit of time, or we're looking, more to like a floor for the majority of his rookie season, but this ceiling will absolutely be there. And I think he is still ready to go to a team that needs a true number one wide receiver. But if he lands with a team like the Saints or the Jets who have another number one wide receiver there, I still think that is perfectly fine, and he can still be dominant from a fantasy perspective if that is the case. And that's kind of reflected in the pro comps that I see for Jordyn Tyson. I see a lot of Jordan Addison's game in Jordyn Tyson at the end of the day when I look at Tyson's film. And that's not a knock. I am an Addison believer in terms of what he's able to do on the football field. I think that Addison is a very fair comp in terms of a floor, but in terms of a ceiling, I think Jordyn Tyson can be as good as CeeDee Lamb. That is his true in terms of the highest potential ceiling we could get. Jordyn Tyson is that talented. If you guys don't believe me, go watch his tape. You will see what I am talking about, and you will see why he is consistently being ranked as one of the best overall wide receivers out of the 2026 rookie draft class. And he definitely holds all the intangibles to be a number one wide receiver day one, and to be a wide receiver who's ready to be absolutely dominant in fantasy football.